Hi everyone. All right, so I am so excited today to be back here with you to continue our science unit. So far we have learned about the sun, right? That big star in our solar system. We've learned what makes night, what makes day, right? And today we are back with another object in the sky. Does anybody know what it is? If you are screaming the moon, you are right. Good guess. Okay, so another book by Gail Gibbons. So we know it's informational text, even though she uses illustrations. Okay, and in this book, we're going to learn about the different phases of the moon. What exactly is the moon? Okay, and what is the moon to the earth? All right, all set? I hear you screaming. You bet. So most astronomers, let's put that in our brain. That's someone who studies stars, different planets, things in the sky. And other scientists think our moon formed about 4.5 billion. That's a really long time ago, years ago. Some believe something collided with Earth and tossed out a cloud of rock and debris. While orbiting around Earth, the rock and debris came together to form the moon. Okay, so in other terms, basically what happened was there was the Earth, okay? Maybe it was formed, maybe it wasn't as formed it was today. That doesn't really matter, okay? But some rocks and things like that came and they hit the Earth, okay? And basically it all joined together and became the moon. In ancient times, people thought the moon was a powerful god or goddess. The Romans called the moon Goddess Luna. That's where the Spanish word the moon comes from, right? In Greece, the moon goddess was Selene, who rode through the sky in a silver chariot. Some American and Indian nations believed the moon and sun were brother and sister gods. Stories and legends were told about the shapes and shadows that show on the moon's surface. Some people said the moon showed a man's face, aka the man in the moon, who was imprisoned there for stealing. Others told of moon demons living there. Okay. Sorry guys, this book is kind of broken, if you didn't really get that, so I'm having a hard time reading it. The moon is the Earth's only natural satellite. Let's put that word in our brain, satellite. It takes about 1 month for the moon to travel around the Earth, okay? And a satellite is an object orbiting around a larger one. So again, the moon is gonna satellite, okay, or orbit. Everybody say orbit with me. Around the Earth, okay? The moon makes one complete rotation for every complete trip around Earth. Thus, the same side of the moon is always facing the Earth, okay? So let's learn a little bit more about that. Now, they did tell us it takes 1 month for the moon to orbit the Earth. So let's learn a little bit more about the phases. The moon appears to change shape, but it doesn't. The different shapes we see are called phases of the moon. We are seeing different amounts of light being reflected on the moon. How much light we see depends on the position of the Earth, moon, and sun, okay? So basically what's gonna happen is sometimes you look up into the sky, right? And you see a full moon. Sometimes you look up into the sky and you see a half a moon. Sometimes you might look up into the sky and see a crescent moon, right? So basically it's going to be based on where in the position, okay, that the moon is orbiting around the Earth. So let's learn a little bit more about those. So the first phase is going to be new moon. Everyone say new moon with me, scream it. During a new moon, the moon is almost directly between the sun and the Earth. The moon looks dark. We see no reflected light, okay? So new moon is basically going to be when you don't really see a moon in the sky. So we have new moon. Next, we're going to move to crescent moon. Everyone say crescent moon. Well, the moon in this phase is waxing, okay? Which means the lit surface we see is getting bigger. So again, waxing, getting bigger. In a few days, a bit of the sunlight side of the moon shows it and forms a crescent, okay? So new moon, waxing crescent. Next one, we have half moon or first quarter moon. When the moon is a quarter of its way around Earth, it is the first quarter phase. We see it as half lit. It is sometimes called a half moon. Okay, so again, everybody say with me, say new moon. crescent moon, half moon. Now we're moving to gibbous moon. Some of this is very confusing, guys, even for me as an adult. So as long as we know new moon, crescent moon, half moon, we're pretty good. But let's keep going. When the moon is waxing between a first quarter moon and a full moon, it is called a gibbous moon. Well, after that half moon, in about 2 weeks, we are going to get a full moon. And a full moon is about 2 weeks since the new moon, and now the entire face of the moon shines when we see it, okay? So again, a full moon is going to be when we see the entire one. So again, we had new moon, crescent moon, half moon, full moon. Now it's going to get waning. So waxing was getting bigger, waning is getting smaller, okay? So now we have another half moon. But when the moon is between waning and between the full moon, it's the last quarter moon. It is a gibbous moon once again. So again, for you guys, I would say new moon, crescent moon, half moon, full moon, back to half moon. Then, okay, we're going to go to a crescent moon again. Once again, we see a small sliver of the moon shining in the light. So again, half, back up to crescent, and then new moon again. It takes the moon about 1 month to go through the entire set of phases. People used to know the time of the month by watching the moon's phases, okay? So before cell phones, before Google, right? Before any of those things, they used to look at the moon and know, hey, a new month's coming or not, because it takes about 1 month for the moon to orbit. Okay. Now, we're going to take a look at a solar eclipse. The moon's orbit around Earth is usually tilted compared to the Earth's orbit around the sun. Because of this, the moon cannot exactly line up between the sun and the Earth. But when the moon's orbit is not tilted and the moon lines up exactly because the Earth and the sun happens, a solar eclipse happens. Okay, those don't happen a lot and you're not supposed to look at the sun. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop reading this book today, right now, and we're going to go back to it tomorrow to learn a little bit more about the moon and how it affects the parts of the Earth. But nice and loud with me, because today's point of reading was just the phases. Let's say them. New moon, crescent moon, half moon, full moon, half moon, crescent moon, new moon. All right, guys. Way to go. Give yourselves a big, fantastic. I can't wait to see your responses in Google today. Bye, guys.